All right. How you all doing today? Hope you all having a wonderful day today. I know my day wasn't too bad. All right. Um, Plan on doing technical analysis on copper, the Copx, which is the Global X Copper Miners ETF, and then Clover Health and the S&P. Well, the SPX. It's the index, or it's the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Um, What I have here displayed on the screen in these box areas is the cycles. Um, the futures, copper futures, is going to be displayed in this coppery color looking one right here, and then on the white one, on the white cycle, is going to be the COPX, the weekly and the weekly and the daily, and yeah, it's kind of like the main point right here, I guess, would be that other than resist, well, other than the rest of the technicals, right? So, other than that, right now it's in a downtrend. It's like bearish. The whole market's been crashing. But there are a couple key points that I am interested in watching and waiting. Actually, say I already started dollar cost averaging in this swing trade. Um, let's see. There is another cycle that I want to get on here, which is this right here, right? Freeport, McMoran, right? Freeport, McMoran, yeah, Freeport, McMoran. Basically, this stock right here is 70 to 80% copper. So like all the revenue, any kind of money they make it off just copper alone. So they're pretty much like, they're gonna track they're gonna track the futures for the most part. They're gonna track all these other copper tickers that I have here, and I can do something with that. Let's see here. So we can look at some statistics or seasonal, right? Oh, there's the information on the company, what it does and whatnot. But the most important part, the takeaway that I am looking at right here, is the 70 to 80%, right? So that is pretty much the takeaway. And you can see it on the chart. It's going to follow it. I could put this on top of that, but see here, that's trash. That's trash. Um, yeah, I think. Okay, this is the sector, right? This is going to be the material sector, which copper resides in. So that's important. And then Lynn right here, it's going to be, I believe, contributes 20% of the ETF. So it's like it's weighted heavy in the ETF. So Lynn is weighted heavy. And there's the FCX, right? The Freeport, um, McMoran. Yeah. So now I can't get this data on the ETFs, like these ones over here, the ones that I'm trading, but I can get it on that stock itself, right? So if we doing like seasonal analysis, right? We're doing some, we can call it technical analysis. Call it your due diligence if you want to. Well, you notice, let's start off with this one right here. Let's start off with the sector. Okay, so typically within August, September, and October, um, it seems to be doing extremely bad in August and then extremely good in November. But September and October, not too bad. It does hit the average mark, I guess. Does better, February, March, and April. And then the day it does the best on is going to be Wednesday and Friday, and notable for Thursday. But Mondays and Tuesdays seem to be off a little bit, right? They seem to be maybe more redder than normal. And if you come over here, you can see the ticker that I was looking at, the copper one, the Freeport. Now they're typically red on Mondays, right? So Tuesdays greenish. This goes 20 years back, right? It says right there, seasonal is calculated based on the data giving back or going back to the 20 to the last 20 years. Okay, so it's kind of like it needs to be brighter. So it's kind of dark right there. But yeah, the daily, the monthly, right? And so Monday's pretty bad. Thursday is pretty bad. I would say the best day it has on the seasonal is going to be on a Tuesday. So if you're trying to dollar cost averaging, you want to get the worst days, right? So far, the best days have been at the end of the week. The worst days have been at the beginning of the week. Tuesday kind of like falls in the middle because that one was good, right? On Tuesday, more or less. It was better than Monday. So now Monday's kind of like falling in track to be the worst day so far. But if you look at the Lin over here, which is 20% of the sector of the material sector, so you can see that August and September is bad, but October is great. It's a great month, right? Then November, December, does fair. More better than fair. Fair would be this middle line, right? So, it tracks better, right? And then just like over here, you had Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday, both great, and Monday and Tuesday, kind of, sort of, right? So you look at this, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday's the same. It's pretty much the same thing, right? And then Monday's bad. So you got, you see a pattern here, right? Monday, bad. Monday, bad. Over here, Monday, not great. Tuesday's better than Monday. But Thursday's better than Tuesday, right? But Wednesday and Friday is better than Thursday, so that's the weakest link on the chain. So obviously, Monday is probably going to be the day. If it's red, the market's crashing. It's going to be an opportunity. If you're going to swing trade this for weeks or months, right? But that's just that. I wanted to bring that up to the table. I wanted to say, there it goes, 70-80% of the company's revenue is through copper. Okay, so yeah, that's that part. And the algorithm is going to be pointing down because they're responsive. They want to know what's going. They're going to tell you, what direction is happening right now, right? If it even starts to build up any type of support, these lines will go up to where it's at, and it'll say go sideways. Ditto for this one, but the weekly, it's going to take longer for that. So um, I wouldn't pay attention to this too much. It's still in a positive area. This is the middle right here. It's still above that, which is a positive note. Positive note, regardless if they are pointing down. That's just meaning it's going in the short term to the downside. As long as it stays above this right here, right? It's in a positive direction. So, it's going to come up. And if it does find any support, these will track up to it. Like I said, with these ones here, they will go sideways. So it will improve over time. It's like a forecast, right? It's like if you're looking out a week ahead on your weather app, right? And it's saying it's got like 50% chance to rain. And you look back at it, I don't know, 2 days from the day, you know, then it tells you it's got 0% chance to rain, right? So it becomes more correct as the time gets closer. And far out, not so much. You can take it under consideration, but I would not advise that. I've seen how this indicator works. I don't think so. Um, so another thing right here, this is pretty much the same thing with the algos on this side. These are moving averages, like as it is here, and you can see it starting to predicting a curl up right here. I would believe this one over this one in the short term. Um, that's the same indicator, but this is for the weekly, right? So it says it's going to curl up. There's a projected curl up. Um, it's this is similar to the Monte Carlo simulation, similar to that, but it's algo. It's a little bit different. Um, on the 14th of August, so that's what it suggested. You can see how the negative, slope has already shifted up to it wants to become positive. We are in negative cash flow territory. On the weekly, we are in we're losing the positive, so it's becoming even more negative now. Even though the wave is forecasting a negative, the money flow itself is starting to shift down, and you can see over here this to be kind of similar to the whale pump and dump area. This light, um, the light green and the dark and the light red here. Those areas. So it looks like we're kind of going stagnant here. And let's see. The trend is still up. It still has an upward trend on the weekly, right? It has a downward trend on the daily. So far, the information definitely suggests that we're going to continue to go down in the short term. Um, we are oversold here, oversold there. I'm going to take myself off the screen here because I need to see behind this. Um, so, see here. All right. As long as the histogram, as well as the wave, or you call this, it's kind of like a stochastic, right? Is above this center line right here. Right? It's like always, it would be like pretty much like common sense, right? It's down here, it's going to be negative. It's up here, it's going to be positive. So as long as it's in this area right here, even if it does dip down, like it did right here, how this wave went down and would bounce back up, that was a buying opportunity right there. This is similar to the whale pump and dump as well. Now I could do extremes here by drawing a line across there, but I haven't done that yet because I'm focused on the meat of it. On this TA is going to be the cycle analysis. Um, but yeah, the weekly says that it's still looking for a bottom. The daily says it's going to find a bottom. Um, it suggests that we should be seeing some buying coming in or some upward momentum here. The um, the weekly does not. There is the hyperwave just continues to do its thing. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to turn green with the money flow. I'm waiting for that to happen. That's more confidence in the direction once that happens, right? Once these right here, the forecast predicts it to be over the 50% line right here, or the zero line, I mean, right here. Then that's more confidence to the table, right? Once we get this wave and maybe some green here, that's going to be more confidence to the table. But as of right now, everything is looking negative, right? So it looks like a losing trade. But I want to say my experience with this is getting a little bit better. I'm going to take a risk, I think it's an educated risk. It's my hypothesis, right? My scenario here. So if we look at this one here, let me go to the monthly. Okay, so some of these indicators are enough information for the monthly, but the monthly is positive. You see right here how it's negative here, negative here. The monthly is in a positive structure. It has positive. It's positive here. Not enough information. It suggests some type of divergence, but I believe that will be canceled out. Let's see. Money flow is still positive. It's definitely weak, and the hyperwave is turning down. All right, so right here, this is the cycle analysis for the monthly chart on the global X copper miners. Right here, you can see the money flows. Money flow comes in, peaks out, then it gets to the gets to the slope, decreases, catches at the bottom of the trough. Right, this right here, it says it's lower lows. I believe that needs to be updated or something because that should be a higher low. Anyways, oh, it's going off of this here. Yeah, I just switched to high. Okay, okay. I need to configure this a little bit differently. I wanted to take the long term into effect, not the short term. But either way, um, so this is the trough here and here. Now we're coming down to this. Now, the definition of a right-handed translation, which means right here is the trough end, right here, and then right here would be considered the trough end. This trough would be considered a right-handed translation trough because the beginning of the trough was lower than the end of the trough, right? So a left-handed, this is pretty much a flat trough. I'll say because it's just a little bit up, it's still by textbook definition of the trough that it is. It's got a higher low from the previous right here, right? So by textbook definition, that is going to be a right-handed translation. This is definitely a right-handed translation. And this is the timing cycle. This is the window. I give myself around, not counting the center, 3 bars. One, here, 1, 2, 3. So if you count the center, it'll be 4, right? So that's the margin of error, which catching the bottom, I would call that more of a area of risk. This is the risk area right here for potential downward momentum because the trough needs to be found. Now, determining if it's going to be a right-hand translation, which is higher highs, higher lows on the next cycle, you're going to have to keep an eye on that, right? As soon as it starts breaking down, to any lower low and a lower high, then it's that this cycle has just become a left-handed translation cycle, which means it's going to move down, right? But as of right now, you can consider this right here your confirmation, right? See how it's up right here? Right there, it turns blue. The histogram is up, right? Consider as long as the histogram is up, and especially if this crosses into a positive territory, this would be a confirmation of a right-handed translation up until the histogram fades. So the histogram is about to, let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's really low, but you call these bottoms as well. If you're going to be in a quick trade, in a quick swing trade, right? You could have bought somewhere right here, waiting for it to go to about right there. Once it came to its next, lower, histogram, you could have sold right there and locked your profits with it, or something like that, right? But I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at it for months in the future. So that's my swing trade position, and I'm going to be very, very picky about when I'm going to buy. I already have a position started, so now is the time to start being picky about this to add to my position. All right. So that being said, this right here is a trough for the monthly, which is this right here, this grayish spot. Come over here to the weekly. All right. This green one is going to be the trough for the Copper's futures from here to here, right? I don't have it for the monthly though, unfortunately. And this blue one here to here is going to be the trough for the weekly on the regular on the ticker symbol I'm on right here. Now these yellow ones here and here, that's the daily trough. So you can see it here. If I go to the daily, right there, this is going to be the trough for the futures here, which is coming to an end, right? I plan on buying sometime in the future, right around here. If not, I could hold off for the next trough on, um, the copper miners right here and wait for that one. Depending on what the charts look like and where we're currently at on support and resistance on my chart support and resistance here, it says the algos say that it is a possible to test this area right here at $33. So you call it $34, right? It's possible for test. It's 7%. This is a 4%. That's a 9%. So they get stronger as we go down. On the weekly, right? Right here is the center of a 44%, and the next one's 35. So it gets really strong. That right there's a 1%. Oh, that's weak. Let's see here. What do we got underneath it? A 4% and a 16%. So yeah, percentage wise on the weekly, it's definitely going to be in this area right here, anywhere from 36 to $33. That is a buy zone, big time, in my opinion. The next buy zone would be right over here, which I do not think it will make it there. um, $28 to $26. There's no way it'll make it there. But right here, definitely, it's a possibility. Personally, I don't see it going past this area right here at the lowest, $35. I really don't see it going past that. If it does, okay, fine. We're going to double down, or not double down. I mean, average in, again, at $33. And then once my trade starts actually looking good, then we can start averaging up a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to be picky about it, right? It's going to be certain zones, certain indicators going to have to trigger. But yeah, I would like to say that given the fact that we're still in down, the market is crashing, you're going to have to be, extra picky about your buying areas. Um, so, like I said, I have a zone around, give or take, $35, high 35, low 35, right? That's going to be zone one. Zone two, it's going to be like anywhere between anywhere in the 33 range, maybe low 34s, 33, anywhere. And I highly doubt this will happen 32, but it's going to be there. So the timing for it is going to be right here. It's going to come to an end by August the 21st. So that's going to be on a Wednesday. But once we get out of this block right here, you see how these blocks are stacked on one another? The odds for it to start really improving should go up. After this one, should go up even more. But once we get out of this zone right here, this is going to be like, I call this the buying zone, right? Then we should start seeing it move up. We got the 200-day moving average over here. Need to get above that. Price for that is going to be at $41. The major resistance on this, on short term, there's one at 43, but I would probably take this one right here as the worst one, right? It's going to be around the $50 range. And yeah, that's same for the weekly, right? So maybe a double top here on the weekly. Um, that's what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for the indicators to turn green. So that's copper, right? We should be green like no later than September the 18th. No later. If we're not green by then my trade failed, and I'm going to have to learn more. I'm going to have to get better at it, right? There are some other ways to look at the support and resistance, because I'm a member of Al Stock Trades, right? Intrinsic value calculation. Now, that's going to be for the long term. You're going to use a satellite calculation that's gonna, you know, give you a price target for the future. Recession, you got you know, the bear, you got the average, and then the the bull case scenario. I should have brought those charts up, but I just didn't. I didn't get it ready. So yeah, unfortunately, we'll probably do it sometime in the future or something. There's always tomorrow, you know. But yeah, this zone right here. Once we get out of this zone, it should just go up to around no less than at least $43. If it goes further down, you average it, you'd probably be around $35. Go to $40, right? Um, and then see what happens. See if it goes up to 47. Now for Clover Health, right? I think I can only make this video for an hour long, so I need to kind of hurry up here. Um, okay, so like I was telling you, with this indicator down here, you see how it's like majority of it is just like it's always in this, like negative zone right here. It bubbles around that constantly. It's net really only had that pop right here. Other than that, there was just a slight one here, but it's been considerably, on a downtrend here. Just like constantly nonstop downtrend. Right. We had a little bit here. I believe that was a short squeeze. They took profit. Over here, I think something changed. This doesn't look like this one. It doesn't look like this one. It should have went up and failed, right? And then also we had the whale pump saying it was at the top, right when it was triggered. So then we had this one at the center. So I mean, it's a little bit better. The way it's working out is it's an improvement. So technical say that right there. Now I have a few things going on over here. These green lines right here are going to be when the troughs from the daily and the weekly, the vanilla one right here, right, the white one, is going to be in sync. So they're in sync here, here, and here. Now on the blue one, it's going to be Clover and the health sector, right? So I got the health sector in brown right here, right? That's the XLV. I got the psychoanalysis on the XLV right here and right here, right? And then on the red one is when uh, the weekly in line, right? So it's like when the health sector and the weekly in line together right here. So these are significant points. Got to pay attention. The next one we got coming up is going to be when Clover Health's weekly and daily cycle um, have a trough coming in at the same time. Right here, where we're currently at, is important. Let's take a look at that. Right here, like I said about this one over here, when the health sector and Clover's cycle comes in right there, that's this one right here. Now I got rid of the bar because I wanted to see the candlesticks, right? But right here, you got the healthcare cycle and Clover's cycle simultaneously coming to an end of a trough right here. So this low right here, if it's Clover Health is following the healthcare sector, it's a healthcare stock, or is it a tech stock? Some people say it's a financial stock because they're a company that handles money, right? Makes it cheaper. They're a platform. They're a SaaS company, so they're a financial stock. Which one is it? Maybe they're all three. They're a healthcare, they're a financial, and they're a SaaS, and they're a tech stock, right? Okay, so yes, the trough comes down right here. That's going to be an important low. As long as we maintain this trend, we should see higher highs, right? Let's keep that trend going. Don't fail it, right? If we fail it, then probably going to have to recalibrate it. It's going to probably get wider or something. But I'm holding on to hope that it's going to continue rising. The algos say that we're going to have a low point, and this wave right here is really not an algo wave. It's something that I seen and created. So yeah, this right here is just like this one right here, how I see the money flows come in and out. It's pretty much like cycle analysis, but it's a little bit smaller. This wave flow right here, here, right? It kind of got choppy right there. And I believe this has a part to play in it. This when the healthcare and Clover Health both had a cycle low right as of right now, we're creating it. So this is the window from here to create that before the rising phase happens. So this is the time limit. They should have it before September begins, like September the 3rd. I am on the 3-day chart, but it's calibrated for the weekly, so it shows up as if it was the weekly. This is another important zone because you have the healthcare sector coming to a trough, and then you have the downward trough coming here. So I think there's going to be volatility here. So that's an important part. And the most important one is way in the future. You're talking about like what was that 2027 ish. So we're not going to even get into that. Money flow. Let's check it out here. We got the waves, and we're in a positive situation over here. Yes, there is pressure coming down. We have positive structure. It's in an uptrend, right? It's the wave that is currently coming down to a slope here. Algo saying it also. We should see some type of downward pressure before we get into a rising point. I would call any type of area of support a buying opportunity. A buying opportunity coming up within the end of this trough, right? As long as everything continues to stay the same, your fundamental intrinsic value, short term doesn't matter. But it's a good learning lesson. For me, I like to learn. So, especially with technical stuff like that. Player one, right? Um, so, yes, the money flow is slowing down, is coming down. There is some downward directions that I have here, right? They're the algos or it's like moving averages. They are pointing down. There should be some consolidation within this zone. So I would say no lower than, I won't even say that low. I say 120 will probably be the lowest if it ever gets down there. I got my money on the 200-day moving average right here at 140. That's weekly, the daily. I drew these triangles in. It keeps on switching on me because we're having this, this consolidation going on right here, or this pullback, however you want to call it. The money flow has stopped peaking, so you see the histogram started going down. It's still in an upwards rising phase here, right? Everything looks good. Money's positive. It's going to be having a pullback. You got the daily cycle with the healthcare sector within the weekly, right? It's right here to here. It's within the rising of the daily. So all these forces, they're fighting one another right now. And the dominant one is this one. So we should see, as well as the market coming crashing down, we should see a lot of volatility, right? And so at least this is over with. Algo's projecting down. I could see that as more sideways action going on here, right? There is a chance that I have these ghosted directions. If it does break down, it should follow its path and then break out. At least that's what I believe. Somewhere probably within this time frame here to here, right? Within this trough coming down. Um, Now, as far as the the algorithms right here, we are currently here, so it's pretty or it's forecasting, some consolidation, more downward pressure, right? Um, The hyperwave needs to turn up. That's going to be the first sign for me is when the hyperwave turns green and starts going back up, right? This is positive. I want to see these change become more positive, preferably right after an area that I would consider money flow bottoming going up. It's still rising. It's still in a rising phase. We still see upward momentum. I said this should be. I'll put a yellow arrow there. I said we should have consolidation. This should be an area where it goes sideways. Then I was predicting with the algos that we're going to see price depreciation. Well, it's yet to be seen, but I already put it there. I'm going to stick to my guns on it until the evidence proves me wrong, and then I'll change it. So, yeah, still in an uptrend. We got a sell signal here. It's getting weak. Negative aspects. We have a two. Two is pretty important. Threes are extremely important, right? It's going to have to break at least 190 for it to change, right? How we have this upward blue ribbon here and change it to a negative. Now this right here is going to be where resistance lies on it, and it has to break above it in order to turn it back into blue, back into positive. We lost that, you know. We are in a downward trajectory. This is the area right here where the trough comes to an end. So this is where a bottom should be formed. We should see some selling, some price depreciation. It should. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? For the most part, structure is positive. The trend is positive. It's positive. Let's check out the weekly. Weekly trend is positive, right? This is my little forecast I had on the weekly. This is what I believe it's going to do with the coming weeks, right? Money flow is, let's see what money flow looks like. It's positive. The weekly did turn down. And that's significant. That's a thing. But if it's going to do that, it should do that now while we're in this area, right? I've already discussed that. So the histogram is still positive. We're still the structure on the weekly is still positive, right? I call this a buying opportunity. So that's my opinion right there. Now, is there anything else? Let's see here. We need to see this turn green, the hyperwave turn green go up and stay in an upward position. Everything looks great, other than the fact we're going to have this pullback. We have to, according to the charts, according to my charts. And then, yeah, I'm making a video right now. So, yeah, okay, I'm making a video right now. I don't have the camera on, but I'm making a video, so they can hear me talking to you right now. Yeah. Let's see here. And yeah, it's my brother. He's says he needs to take care of some business. So let's see here. I wanted to highlight this right here. This is kind of like my this is like my bottom catcher, top, um, bottom and top. That's what I would call it. Basically, it's like this. You know, like seeing is believing. So let me show you what it looks like on the weekly here. Right. So you have this uptrend right here, right, where the price continues to appreciate. And as price continues to appreciate, right, you can see that it just always it's always in an upward direction. And as of right here, right, let's see, right here, as it falls down, This one goes up, right? When those two diverge from one another and then re-break this oversold, overbought line, that is a buying opportunity. It causes this to happen, which means you buy at this point. So right here where this black line is at, if it would have breached that, you would have bought when these lines converged into one another, right? To where they were sloping in the opposite direction after the price starts to go up, after being oversold, you would have bought here. This would have happened, right? Same goes for this one. The price went into the oversold area. It curled over after being overbought, which means you would have bought here, right? Then this would have happened, right? Then you would have probably took profits either here or here or whatever indicator or whatever method you're looking at, right? So it would have happened, you know, this is what you would have got in return, right? And we can look at the previous one. This one kind of got me, threw me off a little bit because it had like a divergence going on here between, the lower lows and this indicator right here. It didn't. The price went lower, but this indicator did not go higher into it and overbought zone, right? So let's see here. This would have been a double bottom, nevertheless. But yeah, that's the reason why you don't buy all in at your first purchase, right? It's like it's a rule, right? It's a dollar cost averaging. That's how it works, right? So you would have bought here, according to my chart, or you could have had a little more safer. You could have waited for this line to break out of the oversold area, and then bought right here when this line broke out of the overbought area, right? And then purchased here, but that would have been you would have been exposed to more upside price action, right? So I don't know. It's all depends on the person how they want to take it, right? But you can see how this indicator right here kind of did a double bottom, and then this one was diverged from there. So you can draw a line, lower lower lows, right? And this one had higher, the indicator went higher instead of lower, right? So that's kind of a divergence there. And this one, went up, and it never made it there, never filled the criteria, but since it went lower, this would have been your buy zone buy zone area. You would have dollar cost averaged in at any point in time, probably within this zone. That's how I take it, anyways. And then you would have went for this ride right here, depending on when you were to, took profits or not, right? So you would have had that. So there's one here, right? Then you got the troughs coming down. You can see, boom, right there. You got the center one, boom, right here, right? That was a major one. That was a center one. That's probably the reason why it went down further because it wasn't complete yet. And then this one over here was a left-handed translation, right? And then it kind of bottomed out early and towards the center, but I don't know that one was kind of weird there, Yeah, the pandemic one, that one did a little bit of weird. So you got the trough here. There's the bottom right there. Boom, right? And then this one was didn't really set the indicator off, but you could have taken some action on that one, right? This one right here, it did set the indicator off. It went into oversold. It went into overbought. It crossed these black longs right here. That would have been a buying opportunity, and so on, right? You could have done the same thing on the weekly, but it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more quicker, since you're using a higher time, or yeah, you're using a higher time frame compared to the longer time frame right here on the monthly. I mean, the weekly, right? You're doing it on the daily. So with the same rules, right? Right here, this is overbought. Right here, right? This is oversold right here. When they cross over, that right there could be a buying opportunity. I go suggest it to be sometime coming up pretty soon. But if you look at the weekly algos, let's see, they suggest it to happen around the middle of September, right? Now, if this does continue to track, they cross and it doesn't have a bounce up, then we could be in for something like this here. One of these great buying opportunities, right? But we'll see when we get there. That's about it for this video. I'll probably make another one later, maybe next week or something. Whenever the chart looks a little bit better, I think that'd be the right time. All right, guys. Peace out. Y'all have a nice one. Have a nice night.